Family reunions were supposed to bring people closer, not tear them apart. Yet from the moment my relatives stepped through the front doors of my ranch house, I knew this gathering would be different. 3 months earlier, my parents had suggested I host the annual reunion. I had just bought a sprawling ranch, property, 40 acres of rolling land, a wide porch overlooking the mountains, and a house I'd poured my sweat into. Every hardwood plank, every polished counter in the custom kitchen carried my fingerprints. It wasn't just a house. It was proof that the so-called failure of the family had built something lasting, but old scars don't heal easily. My aunt, the self-appointed matriarch, walked in first, her perfume sharp, her tongue sharper. She glanced around like a queen, inspecting a peasant's home, and muttered about how flashy it all was. My sister smirked at her side, tossing comments about the overpolished floors or the try-hard decor. My parents, as always, chose silence. They smiled weakly, adjusted their coats, and pretended not to notice the little cuts being thrown my way. They had learned long ago that avoiding confrontation was easier than defending me. Dinner was supposed to smooth things over. I'd worked all day, preparing a feast, prime rib slow, roasted to perfection, roasted vegetables from a local farm, bread still warm from the oven, and a bottle of wine I'd saved for years. For a fleeting moment, I thought maybe this time things would be different. Maybe good food and my home would shift something, but then came the remark that shattered everything. My aunt leaned forward, eyes narrowing, across the candlelit table, and spat out words she had probably rehearsed for years. "You don't even count. You were the one they should have left behind." The air left the room. My chest tightened as if someone had driven a blade straight through me. My sister let out a cruel snort, like she'd been waiting all night for the punchline. My parents kept eating, eyes on their plates, refusing to meet mine, and in that silence, more painful than any insult, I felt something inside me break, the storm inside and out. Thunder rolled above us, rattling the window panes. Rain lashed against the glass, each drop echoing the fury building in my chest. I pushed my chair back slowly. The scrape against the hardwood loud in the hushed room. Every head turned toward me, expecting me to shrink, to walk away like I had all my life. But I wasn't the boy they once ridiculed. I was 32, standing in my own home, on land I had worked for. "This isn't your reunion," I said, voice low, but steady. "This is my house, and you can all leave." For a heartbeat, no one moved. Then chaos erupted. My aunt scoffed, sputtering that I was overreacting. My sister laughed nervously, urging me to sit down and stop making a fool of myself. My parents finally spoke, but only to tell me I should apologize. That keeping the peace mattered more than a little teasing. But it wasn't teasing. It was decades of contempt, wrapped in smiles and laughter at my expense. I repeated myself, firmer this time. "Get out. 10 minutes, or I call the sheriff." The room spun into frantic motion. My aunt clutched her purse, muttering about how ungrateful I was. My sister scrambled for her phone and keys, her smugness replaced by unease. My parents tried to salvage leftovers, like it would glue the evening back together. As they fumbled, I felt no guilt, only clarity. For years, I had mistaken endurance for strength. That night, I understood that true strength was refusing to endure anymore. When they finally stumbled toward the door, umbrellas flipping inside out in the howling wind, my aunt hissed, "One last warning. You'll regret this family is all you'll ever have." I met her gaze steady. "Exactly. That's why I'm done letting people who don't treat me like family stay in my life." The storm swallowed them whole, their silhouettes vanishing into the rain. Atang in the silence that followed, broken only by thunder, I felt something I hadn't known in years. Peace. After the rain, by morning, word had spread. My phone buzzed with messages. Cousins demanding explanations. Relatives accusing me of having a breakdown. Others quietly admitting they weren't surprised. My parents came by days later, their expressions heavy with disappointment. They begged me to smooth things over, to let bygones be bygones. But I asked them the question. They had no answer for period. Over coffee, she revealed a secret that rewrote the history of my family. Decades earlier, my parents had loaned money to my aunt for medical treatments. Money that had cost them their dream home. When they finally stopped, she'd blamed them, and me, the child, born soon after, became the living reminder of her resentment. I had spent my life trying to earn love from someone who had already decided my existence was an offense. For the first time, my parents admitted their silence had been wrong. My father told me he was proud I had stood up for myself. My mother asked what they could do to rebuild. It wasn't instant forgiveness, but it was a start. As for my aunt and sister, I stopped waiting for respect that would never come. Blood had bound us, but it had never made us family. Now when I walk through my house, I no longer hear echoes of laughter at my expense. I host friends here, people who value me for who I am. And every time I look out at the land I built my life upon, I remind myself, I am not the child who should have been left behind. I am the man who finally walked away